All right, so I hope you guys can see my screen.
Yes.
Oops, is it clear? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sure, we can see.
Yes, I can see it.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's session, where we're talking about what technical writing is and why you should start writing if you haven't, and if you have started writing, why you need to continue writing, and what are the things you benefit from writing, how you can, upskill, what are the tools required for you to help your writing process seamless. And also, I would also be adding a session where I will talk about getting paid technical writing gigs, and also how you can leverage your network, social media, and friends and family to build your audience as a technical writer. All right, so I would like to ask like a couple of questions. You can just drop it on the chat. If you are familiar with technical writing, just say yes or no. I just want to get, or maybe if there's a for me to break that. Do you have a technical writing experience, and how often do you read or write technical content? I will check the chat right now. So I want to believe that I should be getting a response from you guys, so as to just help me before I proceed. Okay, you can see. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay, I can see yes, no, 1 to 2 article per week. Won't say yes completely. I okay, yes. All right. Interesting. All right. So for those that responded with no, no worries. I totally understand. And this is the reason, that's why we are here in the first place, to learn more about technical writing. And those that said yes, just kind of follow through to also understand. Maybe you could get one or two things that you don't know about technical writing, or you already know, but probably you don't know how to navigate your ways. So, about me, my name is Idris Olubisi. I am a software engineer and a technical writer. I currently work as a developer relations engineer. I am also a technical writer for Free Code Camp, Section Engineering, Media Jam, which is sponsored by Cloudinary, AppSmith, ImageKit, Aviel Hackmamba, and also a Web3 content writer for Web3 Ashnode, LogRocket, Moralis, Hakemi, Infura, to mention few. And I'm also the founder of Web3 Africa and a developer DAO member, and also a mentor and a backend lead at Code Africa. So, right, let's get right into it. What is technical writing? That's like this is just for me to set the right expectation. So everyone on this call might already understand what technical writing is or might not, right? So um, I just want to quickly, take us back a little to talk about what exactly technical writing is before we take a deep dive into why you should start writing. So technical writing is a way of creating and managing written content about technology, software, and systems to simplify historic jargons or assist readers with specialized activities. So let me try to break this down a little bit. Um, in a simpler term, technical writing is a way of creating content trying to break down a complex concept or about software, about systems, to help people understand what that particular software is all about or what that particular technology software, on how to understand it better, and also taking a step by building whatsoever project that is built on that particular content that was written or the reader is going through. Now, why should you start writing? There are so many reasons why you should start writing, and which I'll be highlighting here right now. The first one is if you want to, or if you are thinking there are no reasons for you to start writing, you might, I can say you are probably wrong, right? Because number one, you could benefit from being a technical writer is it could be your active and passive source of income, right? So active in this case means that you are a full-time technical writer. You apply to a full-time technical writing role, you get paid, and this is a full-time job. Like this is what you do full-time for the company. Then as a passive source of income means that you are maybe a developer, a front-end developer, a social media manager, a marketer, a back-end developer, whatever field you find yourself in the tech space, but you still create content on the side. So that's what exactly it means by passive income. Another reason why you should also start writing is to help improve your writing and communication abilities. So, the more you write, the more you understand how to write. And also, you treating every content like a product, right? Means that you pay more attention to what you're writing about, how you are communicating them. And this is just something that would gradually or over time improve the way you yourself write or the way you communicate. So when I mean you yourself write or improve the way you write, doesn't mean that it has to be technical writing. In fact, it could be an email. Maybe you're trying to create an email. You're trying to write an email rather to anyone. It would help you know that okay, if I really want to get this person's attention, what are the things I need to put first? What are the things I need to put in the body of the email? Then how do I, conclude um, write a conclusion within the email so as to get full attention of whosoever is reading the email. And apart from email, it could even help you with any of the writings. Either you want to do anything basically on your own, you understand how to structure them over time. Another point here is it helps you increase brand recognition and expand your network. So brand recognition in this space is the more you create content online, it just means that you are building your own brand. So building your own brand could be that you're trying to register your username in people's head, right? The more they see your content, the more they see your contribution, the more you get recognized, and the more they kind of attach what you do to your brand. So to your brand in this case could be to your username, to your full name, to your own personality as a person. And also this would in turn just improve your network. So improving your network means that you start to have friends and family, friends that you don't know before. They consume your content, even though you don't get feedback on maybe they like the content or not. By default, creating content or writing technical articles will help you expand your network. Another point here is supercharging your research ability. One thing about content creation, in this case technical writing, is that you would probably do up to like 75 to 80% of research every time that you need to create a particular content. So this is because you want to be sure that you're communicating the right thing, and you want to be sure that you are also up to date. What you're communicating is not obsolete and it's not something that is wrong at the same time. Of course, you don't want to communicate what is wrong to your readers, and you don't want to mislead them. So it helps you supercharge your research ability. So if you start writing, you start making research about your content, by default you find it like a way of learning. So even if you're not creating content, you want to talk about something, you won't find it stressful to go and research about that thing because you already get used to it as a technical writer. So you can definitely research about anything, even something you don't know before now. And the last but not the least here is to help you facilitate the learning process. This is kind of similar to supercharging your research ability, but facilitating learning process here means, for example, at your workplace, you have like a project to work on, and you have no idea about the project. But because you're already used to researching things, learning about things online, be open to learning and feedback, all of those things will just help you go straight to the right source and learn about that thing you want to implement that you know nothing about. And that means that it helps because of your research ability as a technical writer. The whole process of learning can be facilitated by you just researching and fixing issues, fixing tickets at workplace, and um, talking about things you don't know before, but because you have researched about it, you already prepared a guide to explain to someone, and you'll be good to go when it comes to achieving your tasks or doing your personal goal. And this is not even attached to technical writing alone. It could be that you want to fix a ticket at your workplace, you are a back-end developer, front-end developer, DevOps, or whatever field you find yourself. Moving on, let's go to the part that says getting paid technical writing gigs. Now we've learned about what technical writing is, why you should start writing, which is making it your source of income, improving your brand, facilitating your learning process, and also your research ability, supercharging your research ability. But how do you get paid as a technical writer? How do you find those technical writing gigs, right? Because when you start out as a technical writer, you are probably going to start without a paid gig, right? So it means that there will be a certain period in your life that you are just writing probably on your blog, you are not getting paid. So now, if you are in that stage at the moment, how do you try to get paid technical writing gigs? I'll be giving about five um, key things that you need to know, which will literally help you to get paid writing gigs. The first one is honing a blog. This is very, very important, and this is fundamental. You can't skip this step if you want to really get paid technical writing gigs, right? So when we have platforms that you could quickly create an account for free and start writing. So we have dev.to, we have Medium, we have Ashnode. So dev.to, there are a lot of benefits choosing any of this platform. But as a technical writer, that if you are willing to grow your audience at large and also you want to tap into existing community, it's best that you own a blog by signing up on all these platforms. And then when you post to a particular platform, you wait for some time and repost that content on all other platforms too, but setting a canonical URL. So canonical URL in this case means that you are telling Google search bots that this content you published in dev.to, you want to republish it in Medium and Ashnode, but you don't want it to flag it as a plagiarized content, because once your blog is flagged as a plagiarized content, then it's not going to show in the search result. And you are not writing the blog for yourself alone. Of course, you want your blog to appear when people search for something related to what you have on your blog, right? So when you create this platform, that's number one thing you need to do. You need to set it up properly, put all your information, put how they can reach out to you, maybe email, set up your profile properly on all these platforms, then start writing. Another one is knowing how to write. But knowing how to write is a little bit tricky, right? Because for you to know how to write, you need to consistently be writing. You need to be consistent about it. So there's no any other way about it. So here, for you to also know how to write, you need to, get feedbacks from friends, get feedbacks from those that you know that probably they know better or you like the way they write. Try to reach out to them and be patient enough, because they are likely not going to answer you immediately due to maybe one thing or the other. But if you get feedback from anyone, try make sure that your feedback are noted somewhere properly. And anytime you want to write content, make sure you fulfill all those feedback that you got from people, um, from your previous article, right? So you don't repeat the same thing. That's exactly how you can know how to write, right? Another one here is ability to research extensively, or sorry, intensively about a topic. So researching intensively about a topic is simple and it's not simple, right? If you are not used to researching, then you might not be able to research intensively about a topic. But if you can research intensively about a topic and you have that ability, then you are likely to get paid technical writing gigs, because even the content that you write for free, you won't just write it for resting sake. You take your time to make sure that whatever thing you are writing is something standard and is something that could literally help anyone on the planet. So that way, even people that wants to give you a paid technical writing gig and they don't know how to reach out to you, they could find your blog, and if you put all your best, you put in all your best to creating that particular blog, researching intensively, making sure everything is well written, they will definitely use that to find you and give you a direct opportunity to, as a technical writer, to work with them. Another one here is the technical skills. This is a little bit controversial, right? Where some people would say you don't need technical writing skills to be a technical writer, and some would say you need at least one technical writing skills before you can become a technical writer. So I would respond to that based on my own experience, right? I have a technical background, so transitioning into technical writing was just a thing for me to learn about writing, but because I already have the technical skills, right? And that's what I've been using. And so far, the content I've created are mostly technical content, right? And the opportunities or those platforms I write for as a technical writer, I mostly create technical content for them, and at least there's always one language involved. That's the minimum. Maybe React, JavaScript, TypeScript, Golang, or whatever. That's like the minimum. So technical skills is required if you want to get a certain technical writing roles, right? Even though there are some people that contribute to documentation that they are not so technical. But being technical will help you even more to understand the project and give you edge ahead of those that don't have technical experience and they are trying to apply for the same role like you want to apply for. So now, understanding your target audience is another thing for you to get paid technical writing gig. Your existing content, if you are really looking forward to somebody to see that content and reach out to you for you to create something similar or for you to create content for them, you need to understand your target audience. Every technical content needs to have like a target audience rather, where it could be a beginner, in intermediate content, or a professional content, or like content dedicated for pros, right? That's what I mean by professional content. So, but most of the people you see online, they usually target um, beginners and intermediate, and this is because those are the people constantly looking for um, things, trying to understand things, going through a lot of things while they are learning, and they want to find solution online. I'm not saying that seniors don't do that, but when you target those people, you will be able to, break things down, and because you know that your audience might not have much more experience to follow through the content if you don't break it down easily, right? So understanding your target audience, if you need to write any article that you know that this article is not for complete beginners, please create a section called prerequisites and state what they need to know before they continue reading the article. That would clearly, set the stage, right? Because you've already informed them that, oh, you need to know a bit of JavaScript, you need to know a bit of Next.js, you need to know a bit of Svelte. So try to highlight something they need to know before you proceed. Don't just proceed and assume all your readers would understand what you're writing. But setting that prerequisite would help you to give feedback to those that want to read the content, and they would know that, okay, I don't have this skill set, but let me just go through. And if they don't understand, then it's probably their problem, not yours, right? So the last one here, but not the least, which is like the most interesting part, is consistency. So being consistent is very, very, very important, and it doesn't come easily, right? You need to foster the habit of creating content before you can become consistent. First thing for you to become consistent about in writing content is that you should make sure that whatever thing you want to write about is something you are really, really interested in, right? It's not something they are forcing you to do. It's not something you are doing because you see your friends doing it. Be sure that you have interest. If it is blockchain, if it is Web2, if it is Web3, just be sure that whatsoever thing you are doing, you have 100% interest in doing it. That way, you won't get bored. Even if you get tired, you will never, never get bored. If you get tired, then you can rest a bit and continue writing. Slowing down is better than quitting, right? And slowing down just helps you recharge, while quitting means that you are no longer interested, which I think is not something you want to do, right? So these are like the key things, like highlights for you to get paid technical writing gigs as a technical writer. So now, what are the tools that would help you to even scale better? What are the tools that would as a technical writer that would make you understand how to create content even better, and some of the things you should look out for when creating content, and before publishing your content, how do you measure that, okay, this content is good and ready to be published? Number one, research tool, like the only one source of truth that I would say um, is Google, right? Where you need to be able to use Google intensively, right? You need to be able to use Google a lot. And the truth is that there's you can only figure it out over time. There is no best approach, there's no worst approach, there's no best search, there's no worst search. But the only thing is that what you are searching, how do you tailor it to the exact thing that you want? That's something that you can learn over time. From the audience right now, we can get about 5 people and tell them to Google the same thing, and I'm pretty sure that everybody will Google about that thing differently. Maybe somebody will add a comma, somebody will add a code, somebody will just type it in. It will definitely be different, and you are likely going to get a different result if um you need if you guys have like similar search, but there is a different approach to search. So the act of googling itself it's a skill on its own, right? And that particular skill is not something that can be gifted. You need to learn it over time. So writing tools that could help you, we have Markdown, we have Google Docs, Dropbox. Google Docs and Dropbox in this case are kind of similar. They just give you that document feeling and that environment that could help anyone to comment or give you feedback on your content, and to also make you quickly change them and get feedback then before you publish it. So Markdown is somewhat similar. I think Ashno uses Markdown, Dev.to uses Markdown, and I think Medium, I'm not sure about Medium if they use Markdown, but Markdown is another approach for you to write. It's kind of different because it has some syntax that you need to add for you to create content. Another tool here is note taking app, Notion, Evernote, and many others, right? So why do you need note taking app? Because sometimes you might want to write about thing and get stuck for a very long time. But if you have the note taking app, even if you are in somewhere very noisy or you're in a party, you could get an inspiration of what to write about. So just writing it out on your phone note or your Evernote or Notion on your phone, just noting it down would help you. And aside that, I've seen a lot of people keep track with publishing content on Notion. Maybe they publish one content or they have like 10 topics to write about, they will highlight everything on Notion. And when as they publish, they get to update the status just for them to keep track of what they are working on, which is something good for you as a technical writer. So editing your content, you've written your content now, you think you are good to go, you think you are the best, and how do you know that you don't have grammatical errors, you don't have blunders, you don't have plagiarized content, and Also, all your paragraphs are very, very meaningful and they are tied to each other. So that's where tools like Grammarly, Hemingway app comes in handy to scan your project to check for error, if you're on a premium, to help you check plagiarism and all of that. Then Qbots will help you paraphrase because sometimes you might not really enjoy what a particular paragraph is talking about and you want to paraphrase. So Qbot to help you paraphrase is an AI tool for paraphrasing. Then this plagiarism detector and Qtext will help you check for plagiarized content within your article. So this everything you are seeing here, they have links to the sites. So don't worry, when I share this slide, you should be able to have access to them, or you can just Google them directly. So publishing, like I mentioned earlier, dev.to, Medium, Ashno, this is because this is your own blog and this is what you should know about and you should be doing more often as a technical writer. Then documentation here, documenting things, because there are platforms like, for example, now if somebody hire you as a technical writer and they hire you as a technical writer, fine, but you are supposed to work on docs. There are so many tools that could help you or tools that are powering docs right now. So we have a lot of them. We have Gitbook, we have Docusaurus, we have readme.io, we have um, ViewPress. We have a lot of them, right? Depending on what the company is using. So you need to get familiarized. You need to get yourself familiarized with this documentation tool. Should in case you find yourself in a position where you're supposed to work on the docs, so get familiarized with Kitbook, Docsires, and all of these tools that could literally help you update documentation, write more content, help arrange and structure the whole documentation and help you contribute to any documentation basically like using any of these tools. And I think it's kind of popular, right, to use tools for docs instead of building from scratch. So what most company does is that they kind of use existing tools that support the standard approach for documentation and just change a bit of style, but the same structure, the same pattern to what people are already used to. Moving on, we have I also wanted to share like sites that pays technical writer. There are a lot of them, right? So just to highlight a few, Ashnode Web 3, not the regular Ashnode, right? Ashnode Web 3, Log Rocket, um, Ashton, okay, just let me explain that. Ashton Web 3 is like a dedicated domain or content domain to write Web 3 content. So they pay when you write, they pay up to 350. Log Rocket pays technical writer, Smashing Magazine, Twilio 500, Image Kits, and even more. On this slide, this link, there's a particular link there that I publish like sites that pays technical writers, and of course you can check it out. I would also drop the link so you can see them yourself, and you can actually just apply. But before you apply, make sure that you have written content in the past, because all of them would ask for samples what you have written in the past. At least show them your top three content before they will even start the conversation with you. So make sure you've already written content. In my own opinion, I would advise you to have up to like 10 content in your portfolio before you start applying to any paid technical writing platform if you want to minimize the number of rejection you get. So you can start applying right now, but there's high chances that if you don't have up to that 10 content, you might not get the opportunity to write for them, because they're likely going to ask for your samples, and if you have only one or two, it might not be convincing enough for them to know that you know your onions and you are very good as a technical writer. But when you write up to 10, it's likely going to be that if they don't like one, or they will like the other. Or if they ask you to give them top three, you can even have the bandwidth to pick from what you like before you share with them. Imagine they ask you to pick top three and you only have two content, or you have three content. It means that you just send the three content. And what if those three content does not even meet any standard they are looking at? Or another thing is that rejection is not even about you as a developer or as a technical writer. Sometimes they needed somebody with an expertise in different language, right? Maybe you know JavaScript, but they needed somebody in Golang, or maybe you know Golang. They needed somebody that has like PHP experience. So that's probably some reasons why some people get rejected as a technical writer. So if you have up to that kind of 10 content, there's every high chances that you might have already written content on React, JavaScript, Node.js, maybe Go, maybe Python. I'm not saying you need to. It's very important for you, or it's mandatory for you to like write about 3 to 4 languages, right? So what I'm just trying to say is that you might have like varieties of content where they could pick for, or if they ask you to submit top three, you have enough of content to show them as a technical writer, just to validate the idea that you know what you're doing and you are good at it. So, with that being said, technical writing is super excited, impressed to welcome everyone as a technical writer or as a developer looking to transition into the technical space. To welcome you guys to a new dispensation. Thank you so much. You can find me anywhere as Olanesoft, and I'll be happy to help you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very, very much for this very informative session. And I know everyone here learned something. Like, in fact, I also learned something. And I know, like, everybody have questions. Many people here have questions for you. You can start raising up your hand if you have questions. I'm going to be calling you like straight up. If you have questions, raise up your hand. You join the queue, and I'm going to start calling you one by one. But the first person, that's Issa Jacob. So you can unmute your mic, and if you don't if you don't want to like speak, you can type your questions in the chat section. I'm going to read it. But for the first person, Issa Jacob, you can ask your question.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Idris. I really appreciate. So my question is about the audience. So does the time you post really matters? Like there are times that I'll finish article around 2 a.m. Like there are days I'll finish 6 p.m. in the evening. So and I feel like posting it immediately, publishing it immediately. So does the time really matters? And yeah, so that's basically what I want to ask.
Yes, so it does matter, right? Because there are, well, maybe when you're starting out, you want people to know about your content. So you should try and publish during the day and share with your local community. But another thing you should also understand is that because it's 2 a.m. here, does not mean that it's 2 a.m. in Germany or in some other places, right? So that's another thing to consider. But the thing is that you want people to understand or see what you have written. So even if you publish it at 2 a.m., you should create a time for you to share it maybe on your Twitter, share it on your WhatsApp, maybe if you have any WhatsApp community, share it so that people could see your content. That's just for people to see your content, right? That doesn't define the interaction on your content. Remember that you are publishing, and if your content is good enough, at some point, Google will start ranking it. So if somebody from nowhere, somebody that doesn't know you before, search about something that you have on your content, they will be able to reach out to you. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much, and
Yeah.
thank you for the 2 weeks. Uh,
Yeah, so another thing you can also consider is that you can pick a day in the week that you'll be posting your content. You can decide to say, okay, on Tuesdays, I want to publish a particular content. So even if you finish the content on Friday, no, now it depends on how many content you want to publish. Are you publishing weekly? Are you publishing every 2 weeks? Are you publishing every month? So if it's every month, then you can pick just a day and publish. If it is weekly, then you can pick maybe every Thursdays you publish. But you can write your article, but since it's weekly, you wait till Thursday before you publish. So that will just help you organize when to publish, and you won't publish in the midnight where at least your local audience can see it. Even though we know that you are not just writing for your local audience, you are writing for the world at large.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, dear. Before Tobiloba asks this question, there's a question in the chat section saying you mentioned something about posting on different platforms using a specific procedure. Could you reiterate in that point? Maybe it means how you actually like cross publish something like
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. Cross posting, right?
that.
So when you are cross posting, there's one thing about Google, right? The way they prepare the Google bot. So it's just to find related search query within all the content online. And so if you search for something according to Google, right, the Google bot is scanning over 5 billion sites within that milliseconds. So now it is searching based on authenticity, right? And it's also searching based on how plagiarized, like how um, your content is structured, HTML, and how efficient, or let me say relevant to the search query, right? So when you already publish a content, like registering that particular content on Google, it's just like registering it on Google, and Google bot already recognized your content, right? And now you want to publish that same content on another platform, right? It's still your content, but the only way to tell Google that this thing is my content, right? It's not as if I plagiarized it. It's mine, but I want to publish it on another platform. So when you want to publish on another platform, there's every platform have a section for canonical URL where they ask you if you have published the content somewhere else before now. Then if you say yes, then you just add the canonical URL. So that canonical URL is the link to your blog that you originally published somewhere. So let me give an example. For example, you publish on Ashley and you want to cross post on dev.to. So when you copy and paste all the content from Ashno to dev.to, if you go to dev.to setting, you'll see a section that says like, have you ever published this before, or set canonical URL. It means that they want you to add the URL of where you published it first. Add it there. Then when you click published, you are good to go. You are safe. Google won't see your content as a plagiarized content. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, brother. I muted him already. Okay, yeah, I think it answers his question. Then the next person, that's Tobiloba DDG. You can like unmute your mic and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
sorry. Yeah. Yeah, good evening everyone, good evening boss. I actually have like two questions, but like I'm just going to like go over them. Yeah, they're kind of related but like still different a little bit. The first one is yeah, you said something about like using like technical writing now, like do I have to be like a very good developer, or does it, because you said something about like doing research and like you like having the opportunity to do research and all this stuff. Like, do I also have to be like the best developer or anything? But do my skills matter, or do I just have to write on stuff that I'm very good at, or can I write on stuff that I'm not very comfortable with as well? And as a developer, I mean, to maybe just do research and be able to figure it out. That's the first question. And the second one is, what is your take on co-written articles? Do you feel it's a good idea to like do someone else, then you guys should for the articles? Or do you think it's not? Do you think it's not conventional? Like, what's your take on it?
All right, thank you very much. For the first question, I think what you need to do basically is to you don't have to be the best in that particular thing that you want to talk about, but what would help you communicate the right thing is your research that you've researched. So because you yourself, you know that okay, you are not a pro in this thing yet, but you want to write about it. Maybe it's a bug, it's something that you figured out somewhere, and you don't know how. You were struggling with it, but over time you found a solution, and you want to teach somebody else, right? So now that doesn't mean that you can't still research about it, see what is missing in existing article, and then write about it. So this literally like direct answer to your question is like you don't have to be an expert or a pro in a particular thing that you want to write about. Just make sure that you research, because those people or anyone that will come across your content, they want to see that you are communicating the right information. There are some that will just take it in the way you communicated it. There are some that already have an idea about it. If you communicate the wrong thing, then they would probably flag it. There are some that they they don't know anything about it, but they can easily Google it, right, and see something about it. So you should be sure that even you already did your research, you Googled about it, you are sure that you are not going out of context, and what you are talking about is something you researched about and is something you want to understand. Then the second question, which is what's it called? Trying to co-write, right? Like a co-author thing, right? Where you and somebody would write on something and you kind of get the credit. It's fine. If you have, I think a few platforms supports that, where about 2 to 3 people would write, collaborate on a particular content and write, then publish. Then it shows like two of them then, or maybe three of them. So there are a few platforms that already support that. That's totally fine. The main goal here is that you both are learning, you both are communicating, you both are, you have a good term, and you think collaborating would even make the content better, then that's totally fine. That's really good, right? You might not see it everywhere, but the thing is that the approach is kind of different, which means that people will learn in another way, right? You don't need to be in the box every time. Going out of the box could literally change people's life, right? Because one thing you think about this article and the other person thinks something different. Now combining both in that particular article makes your content rich, very, very rich, because no one would go through it and regret going through that particular content. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I don't know if any other person still has question. You can raise up your hand or you can like type in the chat section. Else, is there still another question? Else, if there's no question, I would get the link to the slide and share with everyone, maybe through mail for those who are like RSVP'd. And also, yes, okay. And also all these resources, I'm going to share them. And this session is being recorded, so it's going to be uploaded on the OSCA Okitipupa YouTube channel. So within the next 1 hour, once this call is done, you'd be able to have access to the recordings in case you want to go over anything, or in case you missed one session of this one very important session, or you join the call late, so you'll be able to like access the recording anytime you like, and the resources are going to be added to the description of the video. So I don't know if there's still any other question. If there is still any other question, else, thank you very much for joining the call. Thank you, Idris. I don't know if you have any other thing you still want to say or you want to add.
All right. No, nothing much, but thank you so much for having me. And I hope you find this session useful. So another thing is, if you need like clarity, always reach out. Like reach out to people within your community, reach out to people that you know, and of course you can reach out to me. And but you can probably need, when you reach out, you need to like wait for some time. to get feedback, and when you get feedback, try to utilize those feedback on everything you are doing. And yeah, I wish everyone all the best of luck. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, and also Idris, I don't know if you have like any community that you would like want to suggest people to join, maybe like to like get better with technical writing or.
Okay, yeah, so there are tons of community, right? But I don't think I really have specific community that would say, okay, join this community. But there are community on Twitter, and okay, there's something Showcase is doing right now. There's a platform called Showcase. Maybe I would share. I'll find the link. I should Discord where they paste you. Yeah. This person Showcase HQ. So the show there is W. Like the W is two. So they currently have a program they are running where you get review, you get feedback on the content you are creating, and they pay you. They gift you based on content. They kind of reward you with things and also assign reviewers to your content to help you. So they recently just announced it, so you can check them out. Check the Discord. They are on Discord. They'll add you if you join. So that's like the latest one I know. Aside that, there's a closed group for Article Strike where we encourage people to create content, but that one is not currently open right now. But every other ones, I think you can give it a try. So okay, she could do Africa Writers Program. Okay, but that's interesting too. Yeah, you can try it out. But
Yes.
you can also check the link I shared, right? There are a couple of other ones. They are not communities to write in, they are platforms to that pays technical writer when they approve you.
Yes. Sorry, there's a last question. I don't know. I let's just answer the question like before it's eight. Can I create my blog for technical writing instead of using other platforms, and how do I make the blog popular?
So the reason why I don't support this is because you see you can create it right. Maybe you are learning React, you are learning Gatsby, and you found that you have like a very fine layout that you want to use. You can use it, of course, but there's one thing you should think of that you want to write and make people see your content. So if you create your blog, there's high chances that you need to wait longer for Google to rank your site, and also even longer for people to start for your content to start showing up on Google and for you to have your own audience, right? So the reason why most people try to um, use existing blogging platforms because they already have the community, and Google already recognized their domain. So there's high chance that if you don't have plagiarized content on your content, um, so if you don't have plagiarized content on your blog, your content is likely going to rank because of those domain that Google already know. So I've mentioned Google severally. I mean Google bots in this case. The bots that search through things when anybody search on Google. That's what I'm referring to. So that way you can leverage the existing community they have. Like Dev.to has millions of people within the community. Ashnode has millions. Medium has millions. So that way you can easily build your brand, grow your community, and get followers and following. And if you feel you have grown to a state that people know you very well, then you can now migrate. You can create your own personal blog, your own UI, your own everything, but still using the same domain. Then now migrate all your content away from all these popular platform to your new blog and start republishing them, and then continue creating content. But because you already have an audience, so you have people you serve with your content. But if you don't yet, please just use the existing platform.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I guess like
You say what?
no. I said thank you very
Okay.
much for answering the question. Yeah. I think that will be all for today. I'll get this. Can you share the link to the slide, like maybe on the course, so that like.
Okay, just give me a second. Let me share. Uh, all right. So here you go.
Okay, yeah, great. Thank you very much for this amazing session, and thank you all for joining the call. Yeah, I think that will be all for today. Next week Saturday we have our last open source event for the month of March. We'll be having a session on creating like open source packages and libraries. Caleb Bolojo is going to like be speaking in that session, so you can join the session next week Saturday by 7 p.m. So thank you very much for joining the call. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Yeah, thanks.